Chapter 21. The dressing ordeal was finally over. I somehow survived being paraded like a dress-up doll and had even walked away with my dignity mostly intact. Barely. But now, standing on the ceremonial stage, cloaked in what Ren called the perfect outfit, which still felt dangerously cute, it was time to face the real challenge. Giving an actual speech. So there I was, in our city's main square, standing in front of the crowd in my finest attire. It triggered a small, excited uproar among the monsters, in all their many species. The cheers and shouting seemed like they'd go on forever, but a single silence from Xian shushed them all in an instant. Nice one, Xian. She was so good at handling these kinds of rowdy scenes. With the monsters calmed down, I decided to give my team a few encouraging words. I decided to run down the list of things I wanted my envoys to watch out for. The Beast Master Carillon was a demon lord and certainly one of the more warlike ones. I couldn't be certain the rule of law even existed in his domain. Right, listen up. You're about to visit a nation of magic-born who've only ever believed in one thing: might makes right. Don't underestimate them. If you show even a moment of weakness, they'll walk all over you. You might not win every argument or even every fight, but what matters is that you don't lose in spirit. Your companions and I were behind you all the way. So go out there and represent us with pride. Your mission is more than diplomacy. I want you to truly understand them. We're not looking for forced alliances or shallow cooperation. We want a relationship built on mutual respect. If things feel off, if you think conflict is brewing, don't push it. Just come back safely, see it with your own eyes. Judge it for yourself, and make sure that, going forward, we can build something genuine with them. I'm counting on you. The moment I wrapped it up, the square was filled with wild cheering. It was like being in some pop idol's concert. Supposedly, I was done, but there was one more important warning I needed to give. Let's see, what else? I paused, tapping my chin for dramatic effect. Ah, right, I don't mind a few small mistakes. But please, and I mean this, don't be the ones to start a fight, okay? I'm looking at you, Benimaru. Think you can manage that? Honestly, my entire speech assumed that any tension would come from the Urizonian side. If we ended up starting something, all of this would have been for nothing. Hey, you are in good hands with us, Benimaru barked back, supremely, almost scarily confident. I have learned quite a few lessons myself. After the days we spent with Lady Milam, any fool could understand that impudence leads to disaster. The comparisons to Milam set off alarm bells, too. Using her as a standard for building your own confidence didn't give me any sense of security at all. At least it beat Xian, though. Watching her eagerly nod at Benimaru's words made me sigh. Good to hear. I wish I could have joined you there myself. Not at all, my lord. I think it best you do not travel to a demon lord's domain until we can confirm it is safe. It was clear from that denial that Benimaru wished to gauge Carillon's trustworthiness with his own eyes. Not just Carillon, but every other magic-born who called his lands home. Would working with them benefit Tempest? Or would they cause untold harm for me? Really, I was glad to see his initiative, even though it only added to my worries. All right, do your best. Yes, my lord, and you, too, Rigyur, and all the rest. I'd like to see good things come to our nation. Absolutely, a starry-eyed Rigyur replied. We will spread the word far and wide. Those eyes told me he couldn't wait to head off. He was really leaping at the chance to try something new. He'll be fine, I figured. Great. Now, let's give them all a big hand as they set off on their journey. On my cue, Ren gave a signal with her eyes. It was picked up by our band of specially selected musicians, ready to strike up a great, lively tune. The envoy made their way through the watchful crowd, traveling toward a future full of hope, the hope that this stream of cultural exchange would help plant the seeds for future diplomatic ties. Our first government envoy set off with a flourish. Benimaru's team was off, but I still had a mountain of work. I wanted to visit the human lands eventually, but duty came first. The first steps in building a nation are crucial. Cut corners now, and you'll regret it later. Hanging out could wait. My top security and military leaders were gone for the time being, and I had to fill in those gaps. Soe could handle security, and I appointed Hakuro as the head of our military for now. That'll leave things in good hands. Next was making arrangements to receive the contingent from Urizonia. We'd just finished building a proper guest house, more of a luxury hotel than the simple lodgings we gave Cabal's and Yome's teams. But it wasn't just buildings we were developing, we were growing people, too. Shuna's apprentices had become skilled chefs, instinctively balancing flavors and managing kitchen work with ease. The goblinas, trained through handling adventurers, had picked up the basics of hospitality. Nobles might still be a challenge, but they could handle most guests with confidence. To test our progress, I had the top performers treat me like a guest. With Vester's help, their service was polished enough to surprise even me. For once, I felt we could truly offer something worthy of being called luxury. With preparations complete, we were ready to welcome our guests, but one major event remained: my official visit to the armed nation of Dworgen. The schedule was already finalized after a few message exchanges. It would be a milestone for his proof to Dworgen and the wider world that Tempest was a recognized, independent nation. Signed treaties were one thing, being invited and received in person was far more impactful. It was a chance to show that a monster-founded nation could be trusted. Thanks to Yome's growing reputation and Fuse's carefully crafted rumors, our image was improving. This visit was the perfect opportunity to build even more goodwill, and I had no intention of letting it go to waste. Visiting human lands could wait until I was sure our government stood strong. We received a sign that our envoys were back. A sign, that is, in the form of Trainee. Kneeling before me, she reported our team was near the forest of Jura the moment she spotted them. Thanks for letting me know. Not at all, she smiled. It is no hardship for me. Let me know if anything else comes up. Certainly. I had best be off, then. With another smile, Trainee disappeared. I relayed the news to everyone else that we should expect the envoy team back in a few days. Just then, Yome and his companions paid a visit to town. As I hoped, our little intrigue had established Yome as a top-of-the-heap champion around the kingdom of Farmus. Listen, we're gonna have a party of envoys representing the Demon Lord Carillon soon. Can you guys promise me you won't pick any fights with them? Ah, come on, pal, who do you think you're talking to? You think I'm the sort of fool who'll get in a brawl with a Demon Lord's underlings? Yome slumped. He was right, but there was never accounting for some of the idiots running around out there. It could boggle the imagination. But why are Demon Lord folk coming here in the first place? He asked before I could answer his first question. Ah, yes, I'd better explain. Come to my reception room once you're out of the bath. Sure thing. Yome arrived right on time, fresh from a bath and out of his travel gear, just after dinner. So, what's the story, pal? Easy now, I said, gesturing to the plush leather sofa. I took a seat opposite him. Before anything else, promise you won't be surprised. Surprised? Why would I? Ignoring that, I shifted into my human form. Much faster than explaining. Wah, I told you not to be surprised, I sighed, settling in. Right on cue, Ren entered, bowed politely, and served us drinks in finely crafted glasses, Dold's handiwork. Then she took her place behind me, perfectly poised. She clearly enjoyed her role as a maid, always professional and composed when working. But the moment I did something that annoyed her, or something no proper ruler should ever be caught doing, she'd glare daggers at me. Dressing me up, though. That was her one exception. She sparkled with joy then. ... Oops, she's glaring at me now. I feel like she knows I'm thinking something rude about her. I averted my eyes with the practiced guilt of someone who's been caught red-handed but refuses to confess. Quick, change the subject before she decides to re-educate me with another surprise dress-up session. I sniffed the drink, satisfied. So, how about a drink? Yome, still reeling from the transformation and Ren's graceful demeanor, nodded and took a big gulp, then immediately launched into a coughing fit. Gah, what is that? Ren quickly offered him water, which he downed just as fast. Not much of a drinker. I chuckled. We hosted some dwarves a while back. They weren't impressed with our booze, said it was too weak. So I brewed up something special for them. Guess it's a little strong for human tastes. Though, personally, I think I prefer putting ice right into the glass instead of just watering down this stuff. You're a man of good taste, Yome. Now that the tension had dissipated, I moved on to the main topic. So, I gave Yome a quick rundown of my story: reincarnation, demon lords, the whole bizarre ride. No idea how much he followed, but that's why I gave him a drink first. It's not the kind of tale you hear sober. But Yome surprised me. Oh, I believe you, he said without prompting. I mean, monsters building an entire city. That's unthinkable enough right there. I'm glad he adapted so easily. He was taking to the brandy like a champ, too, delicately sipping it without hacking his lungs out. The brandy was a big success. I was sure it'd make an excellent gift on my trip to the Dwarven Kingdom. Yome and I wound up chit-chatting about far less important affairs well into the night. Dot 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 dot. Dot 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 dot. Several days later, right on time, the envoys from the Beast Kingdom of Urizania arrived. I greeted them in my slime form, carried in Ren's arms. Shuna, Xian, Rigard, and the hobgoblin officials stood behind me, while Soe monitored things from the shadows. Yome's group was there too, surprisingly serious for once. The envoys made their way through our ranks in a luxuriant line of gilded wagons. They were pulled by a streak of thunder tigers, large magical beasts crackling with lightning that ran across their frame, a potent symbol of military force, one easily visible from long distances. In terms of armor, these tiger wagons of sorts, if you took all the fancy gold and such off them, would probably work as tanks. The lead one was the most ostentatiously decorated of all, and when it came to a halt, two women emerged from the door. The first one had long, shiny white hair that was slick and straight. She was a beauty with a supple body and cat-like eyes, but the aura around her was ferocious, suggesting she was a battle-hardened leader. The second woman was just as head-turning, this one bewitching with her black and gold hair and jewel-like snake eyes. She seemed graceful at first, but she practically froze the air with her cold-hearted gaze, repelling most who dared to approach her. They were both magic-born, and not the garden variety sort. The sheer quantity of magicules they held rivaled that of Phobio at his last visit. If I had to guess. A pleasure to meet you, Lord of the Great Forest of Jura. I am Alvis, the Golden Snakehorn, and one of the 3 lycanthropiers serving the demon Lord Carillon. I knew it. A real big shot. I was expecting a top-level officer, and there you go. Which meant the other one was HMPH. I see no need to offer any formal greeting to this crowd, Alvis. After all these days of journeying, wondering what sort of monster might rule over Jura, I come here to find a puny slime to greet us. This is an outrage. Enough, Sophia. Such behavior brings nothing but disgrace to the face of Lord Carillon. Enough from you, Alvis. How dare you order me around? And look, they associate not only with dwarves but with humans, those stunted, conniving, cowardly humans. They are a disgrace to all the monster races. Whoa there, don't you think you're picking on those humans a little too much? Knock it off, man. Right, Yome, I know you hate being treated like a fool. Why don't you show off some of your skills? You've got my permission. I mean, what do you want? Yome was, more or less, our friend, a devoted trainee of Hakuro's. I liked him just like I liked Yome, with his calling me, pal, and so on. And I guess he wasn't, under me, exactly, more like an equal, a fellow student working under the tutelage of Hakuro. Seeing his good name so thoroughly trashed like this angered me more than it would if it had happened to me. I kind of understood how King Gazel felt. Yeah, go for it, boss. You'd look like an old fool if you don't get back, sir. The assorted hoodlums and petty criminals in Yome's crew were raring for a brawl. Hey, guess I've got no choice. Promise you'll look after my team, pal. With a grin, he unsheathed his beloved Dragonslayer sword. No problem, I've got tons of healing potion, so don't let up. Sure thing. Yome took a step forward. Sophia answered this with a jubilant laugh. Ha 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 ha. Well played, human. Think you can satisfy me? As I watched her gloriously overacted performance, Xian moved uh-oh. Does she have ideas of her own? Just as the thought occurred to me, Xian did exactly what I expected. Not so fast. I have stood here patiently and let you have your say, but the sheer brazenness of your insults toward Rimuru-sama. I have held my tongue for this long only because Rimuru-sama instructed me to, but it would appear I no longer have a need to. I shall be your opponent. Xian's eyes grew bloodshot as she sprang into action. How nice. Sophia howled, her ferocious feline nature coming to the fore. I, Sophia, the snowy tigerclaw, am ready and willing to test out these would-be minions of the high and mighty Slime Lord. Then she and Xian clashed, driven purely by their war instincts. In an instant, the place turned into a battlefield. Yome, meanwhile, Oh dear, there is just no dealing with you, Sophia. In that case, Gruchith, provide an opponent for the human. To the side of Xian and Sophia's duel, the Golden Snakehorn, Alvis, gently slipped an order to one of her magic-born. Me, take on a human, sneered the gallant-looking young creature who stepped forward. I know I am a low-ranked member of the Beastmaster's Warrior Alliance, but... well, so be it. Let me be your playmate, human. His hair was gray, matching his eyes, and his skin was a dark shade of brown. He was as muscular as he was flexible, and the large knives he held danced in his hands while he glared sharply at Yome. A word, the Xian Sophia bout was intense. They were both the type who derived joy from battle true berserkers. Their surroundings no longer mattered as they immersed themselves in the fight. It looked like she was about to launch a massive bolt of magic from her hands, focusing all her authoritative might on the effort. Sorry for the wait. Now, take some of this. The aura that had wended its way around her hands formed a ball of fearsome, destructive energy, one that she was just about to launch. Enough. When a voice informed us all that the battle was over. A golden staff was suddenly thrust before Xian. Alvis had stepped in. Her tail was pointed straight toward Sophia as well. She apparently had an energy bolt of her own to unleash. Alvis was, indeed, half human and half snake, her upper body an attractive woman, the lower half transformed into a large, ebony-colored reptile. Hearing Alvis's shout, Gruchith immediately ceased all hostilities. Yom joined him, giving me a confused glance. I raised a hand and nodded at him. Is that enough for you? Should I take it to mean we've passed? Yes, you have certainly demonstrated your skills to us. Haven't they, Sophia? Are you willing to recognize them for who they are now? I am, she replied with a clear, cloudless smile on her face. No complaints here. They seem more than worthy of being treated as equals, that much I firmly believe now. She turned to the other lycanthropes in their entourage. I trust they have convinced you as well. I will not allow any of you to complain about them and their humanness any longer. Humanness any longer? Gruchith nodded. Right you are, Lady Sophia. Rare are the humans who can fight with me on such an advanced level. Pay these people the respect they deserve. He let out a loud, hearty laugh, then extended a hand to Yom. His opponent accepted it with a wry grin, and at that moment, everything was resolved. That left one more group to handle. Are you all right with that, Xian? There was still a gigantic ball of pure magic hovering above Xian's outstretched hands. She looked at me, troubled. It is not a problem for me, Sir Rimuru, but what should I do with this? This meaning the ball, I assumed. You can't banish it, I can't, or I should say, my magical force is at its limits. Looking closely, I could see Xian's entire body starting to quiver. She looked ready to unleash that time bomb of a magic bolt at any moment. There were tears in her eyes. Jumping out from Ren's arms, I nimbly maneuvered in front of Xian, going into human mode and pointing my left hand at her. Xian, fire it, but, it's all right, trust me. Why yes sir, she warbled, confused, but she was already at the end of her rope. The vast ball of magic unfurled itself then, leaving just a short afterglow, was absorbed into me. The unique skill gluttony in action, once more. This utterly shocked the lycanthropes as much as it relieved Xian, who fell to the ground exhausted. Cheers erupted around us as peace finally returned to the battlefield. We held a welcoming feast for them that evening. Shuna was putting all her efforts into cooking for it, and I could hardly wait for night to fall. We were cracking open all the alcohol we had, too. Once all the dishes were laid out, the party began. The mood was quickly devolved into a drinking party. Ah, bliss Tilda, Alvis sighed, her eyes half-lidded in delight as she savored the contents of her cup. She cradled the drink as though it were the most precious thing in the world, a gentle flush coloring her cheeks. The apple brandy is slowly vanishing. I muttered with quiet despair, eyes falling upon the diminishing contents of the barrels. Can you not make more? Alvis asked, watching her lean against a barrel, clearly more interested in indulging than preserving the supply. I replied, currently, we are relying on the forest for fruits and the like. Plus, alcohol is a luxury item. We have yet to release it to the masses. I gave her a rundown of our fruit situation. I see, Alvis remarked. That does sound like an issue. Perhaps I could arrange matters so the fruits offered to Eurazania are passed over to your nation. With that, you could use that to make more fancy liquor for us, I could practically hear her say between the lines. What percentages are we talking? I asked. Oh, you can handle the details, Sophia fired back with a smile. As long as I have something good to drink, I am satisfied. Our Lord's domain enjoys a great deal of high-quality fruit, so I do look forward to what you could make with it. So the ball was back in our court. Best to leave this to a professional. Gabuta, I called, can you grab one of the merchants for me? Gabuta gave a chipper salute. Sure thing. Moments later, a peculiar figure was ushered in, a kobold with wide, alert eyes and thick fur. He wore a modest cloak and carried himself with a blend of loyalty and commercial eagerness. This is Kobe, Kobold merchant and representative. Kobe stepped forward briskly, bowing deeply. Lord Rimuru, how may I help? You see, I explained the situation to him. I'll leave the rest to you. Kobe blinked. Yes. With that, I slid away, leaving the stunned kobold merchant holding the economic reins. Hopefully, he'd rise to the task. Still, who knows, maybe we'll have a thriving wine industry. I think, as a nation, we're off to a pretty smooth start. After staying on for several more days, the lycanthropiers Sufia and Alvis headed back home. Enrio, the magic-born serving them, remained in town with the other attendants. They had apparently been instructed to learn about the assorted technology we enjoyed here, and they were already beavering away at their studies. Kaijin and the dwarf brothers' workshop wowed them. When they visited one of our new construction sites, they assiduously took measurements of the framework's strength and stability. On a day trip to see our highways, they were shocked to see how effective our building crews were. Soon, they wanted to get to grips with this stuff themselves. If you are willing, they asked, we would be delighted to work with your teams. They weren't beholden to any particular schedule but wanted to stay on hand until replacements arrived for them. After discussing matters with Ren, I decided to give them my permission. Before a month had passed, they were fully part of our work operation, far more serious-minded and good-natured than I gave them credit for. One of the lycanthropes was involved with other businesses. That was Gruchith. Enrio and the others were ordered to polish their technical knowledge here, but not Gruchith. While my master, Phobio the Black Leopard Fang, is serving his penance, I was ordered to provide whatever aid I could to you, Sir Rimuru. I am hoping I could return the favor, in some way. Thus, he agreed to help patrol the city, although between him doing ride-alongs with Gobta and training with Hakuro alongside Yome, it seemed to me he was just doing whatever he felt like around town. Ah well, if he was having fun, it was no skin off my nose. And so, the envoys sent from the Beast Kingdom of Eurazania shortly found themselves naturally becoming friends of the citizens of Tempest. To be continued.